Well, just want to go ahead and say something. It's Veterans Day, and, well, even though I'm an Army veteran and took up 4 decades and a couple breaks, I don't regret my service, but been out of the military 8 years now. Health's in decline, and if you look at my pictures on Facebook and my face now, you would say that I'm not in military shape anymore. But what I don't like is Veterans Day, well, another holiday for Walmart and Wall Street? Hope not. I like all these pictures on TV of veterans. Why does veterans always got to be regular Army? Meaning people, Iraq, Afghanistan, yes, people got their legs and their butt blown off and everything else. But to me, it should be every living veteran. I don't care if it's a guy from World War II that flew a B-17. He's still alive. He's still a veteran. Anybody checking in on guys like that? Or when I went in during the Vietnam era, and I talked to guys, World War II, Korea, and Vietnam, and those guys didn't even like you walking on their grass, and you better have their coffee at 0 dark 30. Not like the Army now that, well, they didn't even have a chow hall. It's run by civilians. Some places like Fort Drum, New York, the 10th Mountain Division is so civilian run that these guys got to take a bus 2 miles instead of like in my day where you got up, left the barracks, went downstairs, and went to the right or left of the building, and there was your dining facility. But, well, I think civilians need to get off the Army base so soldiers can be soldiers. And what's an Army base doing so far north? The southern bases show a lot of respect. The northern bases are, I don't know, I feel like it's a perimeter like Vietnam, trying to be overrun by car commercials, civilian landlords that want your business, you know, go on and on and on. All they want is the soldiers' money. I don't like my day where soldiers made $319 a month but had 2 plane flights, coast-to-coast round trip. Nowadays, the taxi guy or the delivery guy don't even get $1. And tipping was a great American custom. I could elaborate more, but you want to say Happy Veterans Day, don't forget those guys. The Vietnam era, the Tet Offensive, the 67, 68. You throw in the Somalia guys. That was not cool at all what happened. Les Aspin, I know you're not around, but thanks for not giving that tank support. Another civilian piece of input. Civilians, why don't you like people like Petraeus and General Crystal? Hugh Shelton, for God's sakes. Then throw in Colin Powell. And right now we got one general that everybody is giving to run the VA, and Mr. Shinseki, hell of a guy. Anybody'd stand up to George Bush and said, "Mr. Bush, this war will go past 60 days." Excuse me. Well, was it like 9 years, 10 years between the both? So one general was right. But if you want this economy built, look at World War II. Who are the 2 generals that rebuilt Europe? Okay. After we blew it to hell with an Allied effort. Nice Lancaster bombers and B-17s, if you know what I mean. And throw in Japan. B-29, little Hiroshima, Nagasaki action. But to make a long story short, what's wrong with generals? Civilians are always wanting to fire them. General MacArthur, General Patton, 2 of the most harassed generals. It's always like the U.S. Army general's got to be somebody's bitch. Okay, but yeah, what did General Marshall, George C. Marshall from Uniontown, Pennsylvania, a little jab for southwestern PA do? He did the Marshall Plan and rebuilt Europe. Were they complaining? Hell no. If you don't want to believe in God, or you want to believe in people that want to give everybody rights, so certain rights groups are getting more than soldiers. The reason I mentioned soldiers, the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and Coast Guard, the reason I'm mentioning soldiers is because they're the ones dying the most. Iraq and Afghanistan proved that females are dying, old men are dying. National Guard, which is state, reserves, which is federal, they got activated too, thanks to George W. and Dick Cheney, Rumsfeld. I don't know what the thing with that was. How do you send people in the National Guard, which are known for 2-day wonders with donuts and coffee, and that's not a bunch of crap. They did not do anything militarily, except what I just told you. and National Guard got a TONE that's like the regular Army, but they're TONEs for the good old boys. They'll leave an E4 till he's 60. That's a terrible E-grade rank because of their TONE good old boy system. Reserves, they're overloaded with these 60s, 78s, 03s, 04s, 05s in some cases, but they pay better, so that. But I got a question, all you people out there. You're giving out all these rights. What about, let's use the reserves. Say you were in the reserves all the time. You're a regular Army a good bit of those years. How come you're still stuck waiting till 60? Most people are done at 48 or 50 because they're wore out. Then they find out there's nothing here. Unless you're lucky like these state troopers, corrections guard people, etc., etc., etc. Marshals in some cases. They get to do both. They get to double dip. It should be 55, maybe 52. People are old and sick, and they're not getting anything. So, when are you going to get off your butt and give rights to the right people? Not saying every Army reservist. You know, you can look at some people's uniform, and they need to, you know, not show that they got it out of a laundry bag, and it looks like a raisin. I'm talking about the ones that do burial detail on the weekends, like the regular Army, and they show up in their blues and they're looking sharp. To me, uniform appearance still counts for a lot. If you show up in a laundry bag, raisin look, you know, oh, that's right, they don't shine boots these days, but people used to shine their boots, and when they did, you could tell if it was done with a Hershey bar and a brick. So that's why I guess they got these ugly sand-colored boots now. But anyways, hey, it is what it is. But let's show some real respect on Veterans Day. Get these people money before the House passes that bill that's coming up. And I hope the Republicans, you know, I admire their stand. But if you give certain people rights more than veterans, forget it. Want nothing to do with it. I'm going to go ahead and go because it is Veterans Day, and I think I'll go drink some hot cocoa for my old Sergeant Major. Thank God I didn't walk on his grass. Sergeant Majors who were World War II, Korea, and Vietnam raised a lot of hell. But I'll tell you what, if they said don't walk on your grass, you didn't walk on their grass. Happy Veterans Day. God bless you. Thank you. Wherever this country's going. And please think of our children and grandchildren. It's not looking good. But we'll divulge on that later. What an AAR for an old veteran. Bye-bye.